Hola, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Karim Saba de PowerMetal.cl, el podcast live, junto a don Hernán Borges, que como siempre está desde Leicester, en esta edición especial de día miércoles, porque vamos a estar hablando en menos de un minuto con Cueva, con Timo Tolkki, que está justo acá abajo esperando para iniciar la conversación. Simplemente para saludar, como siempre, hoy día estoy acompañado de Patagonia, Australia,
Bien.
Red Lager. Ellos no me ponen ni un peso por esto, pero es una buena cerveza, así que merece que se
Buena
lo...
Pilsen, sí.
Hernán, ¿tú
Sí,
con qué
no,
estás con hoy día?
yo tomando tecito nomás por el momento, pero todo bien, sí.
Ya, para
Oye,
no hacerla más
tremendo
larga,
invitado hoy día, pues,
dime.
bueno.
Sí,
No,
sí, para
tremendo
no hacerla
invitado
más
hoy día, pues.
larga, pasemos al tiro a la
Vamos.
misma leyenda. The Legend himself.
Exactly,
Hello, nice
yeah.
to meet you guys. You're
Hey,
drinking coffee,
Timo.
coffee, and you're drinking beer.
Yes.
What are you drinking, Timo?
Water.
All right, yeah. No, this is just herbal tea, so.
Oh, herbal tea. Is it a
Yeah.
mint tea or is it like chamomile or is it?
It's you know what, the blend is called digestive herbal tea, so I'm not sure what kind of herbs it's got. Probably a
Sounds
few.
very nice. I love tea as well.
Yeah, after
Bueno,
dinner, usually I have that. Yeah.
And since you're in
ya, para la
England,
gente que
tea is
no,
appropriate.
para la gente que nunca se ha conectado a nuestra entrevista, yo hago las traducciones así, simplifico la respuesta porque de repente son muy extensas. Don Hernán, que vive en Inglaterra, que es el experto inglés, acá hace las preguntas, y el maestro don Timo Tolkki va a responder todo, y si ustedes quieren hacer alguna pregunta, la van dejando y vamos tratando de coordinar. Eso, vamos con la entrevista.
Brilliant. Yes. So Karin was just telling our followers that, if they have some questions, they can,
Sure.
post some things and we may address some if we've got
Anything
the
you
time.
guys want. Thank you for having me. It's really nice to
No,
be here.
thank you for joining us, Timo. You are one of the, the fathers. I mean, yeah, the big, the really, really, really big names in what we love, which is power metal. So
Yeah, I
it's
guess we
lovely
started it.
Exactly. Lovely to have you here. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be asking this now, but how long do we have? More or less.
I have no idea. I mean, nobody
Brilliant.
told
Okay.
me.
Right. Yeah. Because I got quite a few interesting questions. So I just wanted to know whether
I have time.
Right.
I have time.
Awesome. Right. So I would like to start this interview, of course, addressing the upcoming show, right? The Visions 25 anniversary gig. So, yes, I would like to start asking about the decision of celebrating the anniversary of Visions with this Latin American show. Is this gig something that you always thought that you would like to do, given the importance of the album, of course, or it was a bit more just spontaneous? Or tell us just a bit about how this tour came to be.
I think I got the idea actually when I saw my friends from Stratavarius actually doing the same things with episode, and I think they did it with Visions too, but it was not like, I think it was like 22nd year or something like that. So then I was calculating, okay, like this year is 25. So then I just said, okay, let's do, and then I contacted this guy who did this artwork for the tour, and then we started booking the tour almost a year ago, actually.
All right. We were aware of that, because of the pandemic. There were some dates, then COVID, and cancellation. Yeah.
And then Jari, the bass player, got COVID, so we had to postpone everything. So, but he's okay now, and everybody's okay.
Yeah, you managed to do 2 shows, if I remember correctly, in Argentina and Brazil, I think, and then
I went there for myself. I think I went to Buenos Aires. I mean, I've been doing shows here for like 2.5 years now, pretty much. So always with the same concept, pretty much playing my own songs, stuff like that.
Yeah, we're gonna take a few seconds to translate for our
viewers. Go for it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Mira, básicamente Hernán le pregunta a Timo sobre esta idea de celebrar los 25 años de Visions, la razón que lo va a estar teniendo aquí en Chile tocando si no me equivoco, el 20 de octubre, y cómo partió esto, y le dijo que en verdad se dio cuenta que se estaban cumpliendo los años, se le pasaron los 20 y de repente se encontró que era el momento de celebrar los 25.
Sí, dijo que como que Strato cachó que ellos estaban celebrando, haciendo algo parecido con el episodio, algo así, entonces como que ahí calculó. Claro, exactamente.
Entonces decidió hacerla, contactó a un productor, contactó al que hizo el diseño del artwork de la gira, y todo iba bien hasta que, de hecho, para que no sepan, esta gira debió tocarse más, el show en Chile debió ser mucho antes, pero más o menos en marzo, justo cuando iba a venir a Brasil, Argentina, y estaba acá, Jari Kainulainen se enfermó de COVID estando en Estados Unidos, si no me equivoco, y por eso deciden hacer una pausa de la gira, y eso es lo que hace que la gira continúe ahora en octubre, que el 20 de octubre va a estar presentándose con tremenda banda, así que no se lo pierdan. Sí, Hernán.
Absolutamente. Yeah, so along the same lines, well, you managed to put together an amazing lineup, I must say.
Thanks.
So, yeah, how do you go about choosing the musicians that you want to share the stage with? Is it something to do with, contracts or the record companies, agreements, or is purely based on your personal, desire and relationship with them?
I worked for years to get rid of all the record companies, so I'm not I'm not entitled to any contract at all. I mean, we do this all ourselves, actually, and we actually promoters in the Santiago show. So it's us.
Absolutely self-managing that, yeah.
Totally, yeah. And actually, I know these guys. I mean, this is basically Sinfonia with different vocalists. It's the same band.
Yeah.
So it was kind of natural. Then actually, Alex Landenburg, the drummer, he suggested Conti, which I actually met before, but I didn't remember meeting him. So I was asking him, like, you look familiar, but did we meet? Of course, I was aware of his vocal skills from Rhapsody and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal singer. So then he said, yeah, actually, we met, actually. And then I asked him, was I nice to you? And then said, oh yeah, you were super nice. So this is the story.
Oh yeah, you were like, phew.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, this is a joke. But,
No, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ok, ya. Básicamente preguntamos cómo se armó esta banda, porque recordemos que la banda incluye a Mikko Harkin, que tocaba en Sonata Ártica y en Sinfonía, en teclados, Alessandro Conti, de Twilight, ya no está Twilight Force, si no me equivoco, o sí, no, está en Twilight Force, estuvo en uno de los Rhapsody, el cantante, compositor principal de Trick or Treat, bueno, y Jari Kainulainen en bajo, conocido por Stratavarius Masterplan, y Alex Landenburg, que también estuvo en otro Rhapsody y que también estuvo en Camelot, como armó esta banda, y dice básicamente que es la misma composición que tenía Sinfonia, ese proyecto en el que estuvo cantando el fallecido cantante André Matos, y que básicamente los contactó, se armó la idea y empezó a buscar un cantante, se encontró con Alessandro Conti, que le gustó por cómo hacía su desempeño en Rhapsody y en otras bandas, se reunieron y se dio marcha a esta aventura llamada 25 años de Vision.
Sí.
Timo Tolkki,
y nos dejó súper en claro que no tiene nada que ver con sellos, ni mucho menos, sino que todo autogestionado, digamos. Sí, fue chistoso, sí. So yeah, I was reading a little bit about, the promotion of this tour, and besides the songs of Visions, of course, I read that you will be performing material from your other bands, Revolution, Renaissance, maybe Symphonia, Avalon. I do not know that. I mean, basically, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, is this true? Are you playing some songs from these albums, or any surprises? I don't know. Tell us a bit.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Right. Yeah.
Let's
keep it that.
I don't know, man, but some fans actually send me emails because I'm quite accessible. So they send me like, can you send me the set list? And I'm like, this is really how far we have gone, It's like,
yeah, that's how close you are to your fans.
Come on, man. I mean, when I went to see like Rainbow and Iron Maiden back in '83 and '84, I wouldn't even thought about asking them a set list before.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's crazy.
But and I wouldn't want to know it. I fucking wouldn't want to know it before.
That's the thing.
I don't understand that at all.
This is very personal. Some people like to know, what they're going to be playing. I am the kind of guy that, I mean, if I'm seeing a band that I really, really, really love, I don't want to know anything about it. If I am just checking out a band for the first time, I may want to be aware of what kind of albums they're going to be playing. But if it is a band like, yourself, please don't tell me anything. But yeah.
There was this one guy who actually said the reason is that he needs to memorize the songs again. And I actually answered, well, why don't you listen to the records?
Exactly, yeah.
Visions Tour.
The name of the show should give something away. Oh my God.
But I think they just want me to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. ¿De ahí, Karim?
Sí, le preguntamos sobre si en la gira va a estar tocando canciones solo de Visions o canciones de Sinfonia, Avalon y otros proyectos. Y básicamente dice que esa pregunta incluso se han hecho muchos fans directamente, así como, ¿me puedes decir cuál es el setlist de la gira?
Para que me lo aprenda.
Sí, uno incluso le preguntó porque quería aprenderse las canciones de nuevo para saber qué cantar. Y él dice que le parece igual extraño, lo comentaba con Hernán, que Hernán cree en esto de que se hacía antes de la sorpresa. Antes, por ejemplo, tú comprabas un disco y no sabías lo que iba a escuchar. Hoy en día uno lo compra ya con el disco escuchado. Que era lo mismo. Entonces tú ibas a un concierto y te sorprendías porque, sonó, no sé, Rime of the Ancient Mariner con Iron Maiden, o tocó a Judas Priest y tocó Painkiller, no sé, pero
no Trooper, please.
¿ya?
No, Trooper. Exactly.
No more Trooper. ¿Ya?
Trooper, please.
Pero la gracia está aquí eso. Entonces él no le dice a los fans y además que la gira se llama Visions, así que tenemos algo más o menos claro. Pero básicamente no nos contó nada.
They play today in Mexico City, actually, Maiden.
Yeah, Iron Maiden. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some small club.
A small club? No,
that's much. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I've got another question here. So, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna move the questions a little bit to this other screen. Right. Visions is, of course, one of the most iconic albums, not only of Stratavarius, but, of the whole power metal genre. And to many, including me, it was the peak of the most solid and classic lineup of the band, musicians with whom you shared the stage for, God knows how long, for more than 10 years. So basically, I wanted to ask you how playing this album with different musicians makes you feel. Do you give it any thought to that, or because it has been just so long, it doesn't feel strange anymore, or anything like that?
I think the record is so strong and the songs are so strong that it really doesn't matter who you play it with.
Right.
The songs really stand out, but I don't think, to me, it's not a peak, because that's actually the second album of this lineup. After was Destiny, and then Infinite, and then Elements. So to me, the peak was actually Elements. Is
that the album you like the most, or you feel like it was the...
I really like the most Elements, yes. I would have to say.
Right, maybe that wasn't a personal note, and my friends that, we tend to
I
like...
understand, sure. I mean, it's for sure, I think it's the most famous record, Visions. So, and that was the record that actually really made us famous, because on that one, it really started to go bigger.
To be 100% honest, actually, I've never decided. I could never sort of make my mind as to which album I like the most, whether episode or Visions. So those two.
It's kind of hard, but there's a funny story about this, because after the episode tour, Jörg Michael told me this story like about 6 months ago, and I don't remember this, but he told me that I told everybody that I'm gonna start composing the next record, okay? And then he texted everybody, he probably goes to some cabin in the forest or something. And then after 1.5 days, I texted the guys that the record is ready.
What?
Yeah.
No, you're joking.
No, this is serious. I'm serious, because I compose very fast. Most of my songs, all these songs that you guys know, I composed in 15 to 20 minutes, So if you are that inspired like I was after the tour, it's not that difficult with it, because 1.5 days is actually 32 hours.
Well, I mean, for you it may not be that difficult, but
it's not really. It wasn't difficult at all. It was the records were so easy to make. I mean, we had a great chemistry, we had a great team. Yeah. Then it's possible,
Yeah, I'm very sorry. Just to make sure I understood. Sure. So this was after the tour of the episode album.
Yes, right away after that.
Yeah, so it would have been Destiny. No,
that was Destiny was after Vision. So this was like 96.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 96. You're right. Sorry, I got it mixed up. Yeah, so it was 96. Visions, really. Yeah.
Yeah, this was Visions.
That's incredible. Sí, entonces ahí nos contaba increíble que el Visions lo compuso en 1 día y medio después de la gira del episodio.
Como cada 15 minutos escribe una canción, decía, cuando está inspirado, o sea, eso se demoró. Y que está en la gira, compuso el disco y le avisó a la disquera, está listo el disco, es cosa de grabarlo.
Y nos decía que Jörg Michael, actually, de hecho, le recordó esta historia que él no se acordaba hace algunos meses atrás, le contó, pero no, pues increíble saber eso, que uno de los discos más importantes del género lo grabó Así de rápido. ¿Cachai? Y dice, no, si no es tan difícil. Y yo digo, puta, pa' tipo, weón, ¿cachai? ¿Cómo? Sí. Oh,
Y de
no,
hecho,
it's really... Sorry,
no,
dale, Gary.
de hecho, también la pregunta en sí parte con ¿qué se siente tocar esto con otros
Sí.
músicos? Por eso, de ahí va la pregunta. Le preguntó porque Visions es, sabemos, uno de los discos más importantes del power metal, no solo finlandés, sino que de la historia del power metal. ¿Y qué se siente no tocar con Stratavarius y tocarlo con los cabros de Sinfonia más Alessandro Conti? Y dice que el disco es tan bueno, está tan bien hecho, aunque para él no es su favorito, a él le gusta más el Elements, por lo que entendí, se mantiene solo. O sea, el disco es tan bueno que puedes cambiar los integrantes, siempre y cuando tengan la calidad para llevar a esa música a cabo, que para poder decir, para tocarlo. Y voy a agregar una pregunta de la gente que me pareció interesante. Christian Droguet, siguiendo con el tema del Visions, Christian Droguet is asking you, Visions of Europe is the best live album he has listened, but he's asking if you, if there is a visual...
like a DVD?
Yes.
No, there isn't. That's the weird thing, because we actually recorded 3 separate shows.
Yeah, I think his question is like, of course, I mean, I think that he knows, we all know that, you know, unfortunately there's no DVD or anything, but he's asking if there's any sort of, I don't know, video or any material, you know, audiovisual.
To see the shows.
Well, we have 3 shows recorded. I think we recorded Milan, and then we recorded...
yeah, I do remember reading that, yeah.
We recorded Sao Paulo, at least those 2, but there were always some really weird technical problems, you know, and we could never really release those, but we have those tapes for sure, and maybe in some years we can get together and maybe release some of these songs, because not all of them are like technical problems.
Cool.
That would be absolutely brilliant, man. And I'm sure it would do well in science, but to answer to our friend.
I mean, we recorded Via Funchal in Sao Paulo. There's like 6,500 people. We sold it out, so that was a cool show.
Which ones was that? Sorry,
that was Via Funchal. We recorded Sao Paulo, so that was like 6,500 people sold out the show. So we recorded that show.
And when was that? Sorry,
that was 2003. Elements.
Dice que el concierto parece que se grabó, existen grabaciones, pero salieron mal, por tanto no las puede procesar. Ahora, dice que en el futuro, quizás si se conversa con la banda, todo, ese material salga, porque al final, hoy en día, el concepto documental permite que grabaciones, la gente quiere verlo, aunque no sea perfecto, sería bastante agradable del Visions. Y una segunda pregunta sobre el Visions, another question about Visions, Rea Scott is asking, what happened with the guitar that you have with the design of Visions?
But that's even more strange, because somehow I think I lost it. I mean, I gave away a lot of those guitars, and some of them I broke on stage. Right. And whenever I broke a guitar on stage, it was just because I had a really bad sound and I become angry. So I was like, I remember always this show in Madrid, Spain, playing a festival. There was AC/DC headlining. So I had a horrible sound, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to break this guitar. But then I was hesitating, and then I saw a guy in the audience with a Nike shirt saying, "Just do it." But that was a sign for me, and they're like, you know, that's where it happened, and you know.
Right. Yeah.
But actually, when I was in Chile, Santiago, back in 2019, when I started to do these gigs, somebody comes to me in the hotel in there and has that guitar.
Cool.
And I'm like,
really?
What? How do you have this?
Yeah.
I have no idea how he got it.
Of course, I mean, I don't suppose it was the original. He got it made to look like it, I suppose.
He never told me, but it was the guitar. So maybe he ordered it from Japan. So I had a endorsement to ESP Tokyo. So.
Right.
But I was really surprised to see that.
Yeah.
There, you know.
Bueno, un par de cositas, po. A ver, claro, en respuesta a la guitarra, decía que no se acuerda, que la dio o lo que sea, pero que un huevón en Chile llegó con la guitarra al hotel.
Entendamos que hay una guitarra, cuando para esos tiempos había una guitarra que tenía el diseño del Visions, entonces le pregunté...
De hecho, es la que sale en los videoclips, ¿no? Sí. The Speed of Light.
Entonces Scott nos preguntó qué pasó con esa guitarra y nos cuenta que la verdad no tiene ni idea, sabe que al parecer se perdieron y que alguna habría sido quebrada durante... en alguno de los shows, pero que dice que el año 2019, si no me equivoco,
Sí.
o un poco antes vino a Chile y apareció alguien en el hotel con una guitarra idéntica, que no pudo resolver la duda porque le preguntó y no le dijo si la guitarra fue hecha por él o fue una guitarra, pero que era idéntica a la original, así que no tiene cómo saber
Quizá
si
era
es
el
una
original,
guitarra,
no sabes.
si es la real o no. Bueno, sigamos con las preguntas, Hernán.
Right. Let's carry on with this guide. Oh yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, we really wanted to make this question because you, if I understood correctly, you kind of announced that this may be your last tour, or like it may be the last time that we see you on stage. It sounded like a farewell. So
yes, maybe. I mean, it's
right.
I've seen the declining of the industry way before pandemic, and it's like everybody goes to the big companies, and then the middle how you say, like bands in the middle and the smaller bands are suffering from that. So I play as long as people come to see me, But when I start to see that it's declining, which is not really still, then it's time to do something else. Also, it's hard to be in this position because I composed like 400 songs, and to do something like creative, because people always expect certain songs from me, and they want their Black Diamonds and their Paradises and whatnot. But I can't do it that way, And I've never composed any song for my fans. I have to please myself. So if somebody loves that stuff, then that's the coolest thing on earth. But I cannot base myself as an artist, a composer, producer, to please my fans with music.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sí, mira, le preguntamos, porque hace un tiempo, debe ser un mes, Timo sacó un comunicado donde decía que prácticamente ojalá la gente fuera a este show porque él no puede prometer que haya más giras. De hecho, hay lugares donde que no va a pasar, se disculpa, pero puede que esta sea su última gira. No lo tiene claro, no es un anuncio final. Y le preguntamos exactamente eso, ¿qué pasa? ¿Por qué esto? Y dice que básicamente que él toca mientras haya gente que quiere ir a verlo. Y cada vez se da más cuenta que cuesta que la gente vaya a ver shows, por los precios, por la cantidad de shows, por lo que sea. Entonces, el trabajo, sobre todo porque él no trabaja con entendamos que él es autoproducido. Este show, básicamente, él se comunicó con una persona en Chile que hizo todos los contactos, todo, pero él está siendo completamente autoproducido. Cuesta mucho porque él no quiere tener que ver con sello ni nada. Y el cansancio, si no es bien recibido, o sea, si él viaja a una gira y no tiene gente que lo vea, al final lo desgasta. Por lo mismo cuando compone, él compone porque le gusta, no por los fans. Entonces, si a los fans le gusta lo que compone, la raja, pero en el fondo él quiere disfrutar y esto de tener que viajar, de repente que encontrarse con que no hay nadie, sí desgasta. Entonces, en el fondo es una realidad. Esto cansa a los músicos y como él no tiene obligaciones contractuales con nadie, mientras esté disfrutando va a seguir tocando y si deja de disfrutar va a parar. Básicamente eso es.
Yeah. Right. So we had a bit of an introduction about this upcoming show. Now I want to take you to some grounds.
Yeah.
Relating your more like the career, some more personal stuff, etc.
Sure.
And then we're gonna go back to it in terms of what's coming up for Chile. So in this sense, I would like to ask you about, we've been talking about, you have had a really, really, really long career with some incredibly successful times, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, and then also some of the moments that seem to be more difficult for different circumstances. So if I ask you about, the good times and the maybe not so good was looking in retrospect, which moments would you say were the happiest, that bring the happiest memories or the biggest highlights of your career, those that you cherish the most? And then on the other hand, which were the most difficult times for you as a musician?
Well, let's get the bad news first.
Right.
I think the most difficult time was really from like 2004 to 2008 when I left the band, actually.
Right.
Because, we went up, every record was more successful, every tour was bigger. Every record was really, also for me, it was like as a composer, I felt that I really succeeded to take it further. And then after that, when you reach the top and the ceiling, where do you go? So without repeating, because you can always repeat if you want, but I don't want to really repeat that. So then, it's like a kind of a bad marriage with like 5 of guys married.
Yeah.
And there's like something starts to irritate you, and it's of course all in you. I mean, you are projecting yourself to the other people, and then I had a great guys with me always. I mean, what I feel the most sad is that I never sit down and looked who I play with. I never sat down and I relaxed and, man, I play with James Johansson, Timo Tolkki, Jörg Michael, and Jari. I never took time to feel grateful for that, really. And that's the thing, that those days will never come back, you know. So those are kind of, and then when the band broke up, and that was, of course, there was a lot of weirdness going on, because I gave them the name, but I felt angry about it.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, because I do remember that you had the rights of the banner. The banner was yours.
Yes.
You could have done something different, but you decided to actually,
For me, it was just there was no way to continue with that name. So I gave it to them, but I actually didn't realize how difficult it was to get out from that, because it was part of my life for like 24 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so maybe you translate the bad things first.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then. No, hold on. Let's gonna just translate this bit.
Exactly.
We'll go to the happiest moments.
Sure.
Dale, Karim.
Sí. Básicamente, la pregunta va de toda esta carrera tremenda que ha tenido con alto y bajo de Timo Tolkki. Le preguntamos cuál piensa que es su peor momento y cuál es el mejor momento. Contestó lo primero de parte que vamos a hablar ahora, que es lo más triste. Y dice que básicamente lo más triste fue pasar de ser la banda top a decidir, porque había un mal matrimonio, o sea, no estaban bien ellos, decide separarse de la banda, y que eso claramente fueron años de tristeza, años difíciles para él, que incluso lo lleva ahora a pensar que nunca se dio el tiempo de darse cuenta mientras estaba tocando que al lado tenía a Timo Tolkki y al otro lado tenía a James Johansson, y que eran tremendos músicos. Entonces, que de alguna forma se da cuenta que incluso no logró disfrutar de la tremenda banda que tenía, que eso claramente le da mucha pena. También que fue raro esto de que él se salió de la banda, decide entregar el nombre de la banda, pero a la vez él se queda con nada para...
Como que le dio rabia igual, que lo hizo. Claro.
Pero le dio rabia, o sea, le entregó la banda, pero él estaba enojado, era como, estoy feliz y enojado.
Como el meme de los Simpsons.
Sí, estoy feliz y enojado, tal cual. Entonces, este fue lo más triste. Y ahora vamos con la parte de lo mejor de su carrera. O sea.
Yes, now let's go to the highlights or your happiest memories as a musician in your career.
There's many. I mean, it's been like 38 years, man. So how do you pick up the best? I mean, I think one of the best was definitely in Venezuela, Caracas, back in 2006. It was one of those days when everything goes wrong, you know.
Right.
And we fly there from Mexico, I think, and then we are in the middle of a huge thunderstorm with a plane, and we are like really turbulent landing and stuff. And then we go to the hotel, and it's raining like a really motherfucking a lot. And the gig was, of course, outside in this amphitheater.
Oh, all right.
So it's like our tour manager, AC, he said that maybe we can't do this today because it's we have to cancel the show. And what can we do? But exactly at 3 p.m. it stopped raining with a knife cutting.
Right.
And then our roadies went there, and we didn't even do sound check. So there was no time. So we go there and we see this, like, I think it was like 5,000 people queuing. We go there and then they start screaming, and we are like,
had you been in Venezuela before? Was that your first time there?
That's the first and the last time.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then we played the show, and I think it's in YouTube somewhere. And that's one of those moments when you feel as an artist and in a band that this is really so cool.
I'm going to look it up. Yeah. I'm curious now.
It's there. So, I mean, the people were singing, they always sing here in Latin America, but you know, some people were crying and they were really emotional. So I remember that show. That was, I think, top 3 of all the shows of my whole career, which is like 5,000 shows. You know.
Oh man.
Oh my.
Yeah, I played like 5,000 shows in 60 countries. So it's been a road. It's been a long road, man.
I hope we have some Venezuelan fellows who are connected right now. We have some people from different Latin American countries sometimes connected.
Yeah,
so,
I was actually planning to go there now for 3 shows, but there was like from the Finnish government there was like a travel ban.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I really couldn't go this time, and I hope we can do it again next year because I really loved that concert, and I would love to have gone there. So that's definitely one. But then I think the happiest time was when I got Jens Johansson and Jörg Michael and Timo Tolkki to my band. That was when we like I mean episode times when we were in Finnvox Studios recording that, and we just knew that we have it. We just knew. Everybody felt it.
Okay. Le preguntó ahora sí la parte lo mejor de que se acuerda, o sea, dice que hay momentos grandiosos, pero hay uno en particular que se acuerda, es cuando fueron a tocar a Venezuela el año 2006.
Grandioso.
Un momento grandioso, tocar en Venezuela, que dice que tomaron el avión para allá y de partida había una tormenta enorme, una tormenta de mierda, así de fucking... llegó a Venezuela y seguía lloviendo, estaba destrozado todo, apareció AC, el famoso manager de toda la gira, y les dijo que prácticamente era imposible que tocara con ese desastre que tenían, y de repente la lluvia paró como a una hora de empezar el show, no habían probado sonido, nada, y fue como que les dijeron, la lluvia paró, toquen. Se presentaron, habían más de 5.000, no me acuerdo.
Sí, eran como 5.000 personas, era la primera vez que tocaban en Venezuela,
y que la gente emocionada, desatada, llorando, y que dice que incluso puede que en YouTube esté dando vuelta esos videos, pero que fue impresionante, o sea, que fue sorprendente con todo lo que costó hacer ese show, cómo salió. Y por otro lado dice que uno de los tiempos más hermosos que lo ve ahora es haber estado en la misma banda y tener a su lado a Jens Johansson, a George Michael,
cuando lo reclutó, o cuando
tuvo la formación con Jens Johansson, George Michael y Timo Tolkki. Esa fue el mejor tiempo.
Sí. Yeah, well, thanks for that, Timo. That was lovely memories for you to share with us. Yeah. Let me see
y se disculpa con la gente de Venezuela, si alguien nos está viendo, que tenía toda la intención de ir a Venezuela, pero lamentablemente hay problemas con la entrada, con las visas, todos gubernamentales, que hacen imposible ir a tocar. A él le encantaría tocar de nuevo en Venezuela, le encanta venir a América por cómo la gente se entrega, todo, pero lamentablemente por un tema de visa y de problemas gubernamentales no puede entrar. Entonces, por eso no puede ir.
Yeah. Along the same lines, it's quite similar actually to the question before, and maybe we addressed it to some extent, but I always ask my interviewees about like if there is a particular moment that you remember or a decision that you made at some point in your career that you regret doing, and if so, which one would that be, and what would you have made different, if you had the chance, say, to travel back in time, kind of thing.
I just don't believe in that kind of thing. It's life goes forward, and everybody makes mistakes, and there are, of course, good and bad decisions, but they are all somehow part of the game. At the end of the day, I agree with that, and you are everything that you've been through at the end of the day, and you get exactly all the memories, all the experiences. That's who you are.
We're better off embracing that. Sorry, we're gonna just like that.
Sure.
La pregunta fue, siguiendo el mismo tema, que si hay algo de lo que se arrepiente. Y él dice que hay muchas malas decisiones en la vida, pero es difícil arrepentirse de algo porque fueron decisiones tomadas en el momento. En el momento le parecieron la mejor decisión, y lo que pasó después son cosas que ocurren. Pero si bien puede decir que hay cosas que fueron malas decisiones, no hay nada del que él puede decir me arrepiento porque en ese momento me pareció lo mejor. Básicamente eso.
If you this is a bit more playful in kind of the same lines, but if you had the chance to send a message to your younger self, right, say 18-year-old Timo Tolkki, what would you say to him?
Oh man, what would I say to him? I would just say I love you, I guess. That's cool. What I would say. That's it.
That's really strong. It's really
it's very.
I think it means cool. A lot. Yeah.
Yes. La pregunta es muy simple. Hernán le preguntó qué le diría a Timo Tolkki de estos tiempos al Timo Tolkki de 18, 17 años cuando está empezando con esta locura de Stratavarius, todo eso. Y lo único que le diría es que lo ama, que ama a Timo Tolkki niño, básicamente eso.
I think it's very strong because I think that in that period of your life, when you are just growing up, sometimes there's this sense of like, what is my purpose, or sometimes problem with self-confidence, or you don't know if you're loved or not. So you saying, like, just say I love you is it's not just cute, but I think it's a very strong message.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is in this world that the brainwashing starts very early. And we are pretty much all brainwashed and conditioned to act in a certain way, and that's exactly what society wants. I'm not going too deep into that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it has been taking all my life to unbrainwash me from everything that they fed me. And that I'm able to finally really be myself, that these are my thoughts. They're not copied from anywhere. They're not anybody else's. They're really me. And that's actually, you can say that sort of you did it. You managed.
Good. Yeah, sí,
Dale.
No, eso que siguiendo esa línea, habla de que un poco él está tranquilo ahora, de que él por fin siente que él es el mismo, que ya está. Él decía que él, ¿no es cierto?, la sociedad nos condiciona un poquitito. Este condicionamiento creo que es la palabra que quería ocupar, y un poquito de lavado de cerebro, en el sentido de que tú, claro, la sociedad te condiciona para que actúes o pienses o digas cosas de cierta manera. Y que él le diría a su antiguo, a su versión joven, que como que lo logró, como Caché dijo, como you managed, you made it. Entonces, eso.
Antes de eso, a la gente que está dejando las preguntas, tenemos una pequeña pauta, por eso tengan claro que vamos a tratar de hacer todas las preguntas que ustedes tienen. Hay algunas que están dentro de la pauta y hay otras que no, pero vamos a hacer la pauta y después vamos a ir agregando al final si está de acuerdo con seguir con preguntas. Así que por nosotros dos tenemos tiempo de sobra, creo.
Yeah, so yeah, here at PowerMetal.cl, we did interview you, I think it was 3 years ago. It wasn't myself, but it was one of my colleagues. And in that interview, you mentioned that you would be interested in reuniting Stratavarius, maybe. So I wanted to ask you how you feel about that. If you still feel that way, or, if there's any chance for this to happen at some point, I don't know.
Well, everybody asks this, of course. Again, life goes forward, man. I mean, there's... If the only reason to do that is money, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't do it for that. But I think that what Halloween is doing is kind of cool. And
actually, there's a comment just down below. It says the same thing. Just like Halloween, we want Stratavarius United, and I'm sure you get a lot of those messages.
Every interview. But it really is that we have like 2 separate careers, me and the guys, and they just released a new record in a couple of weeks, which is, by the way, really good. And
all right.
Yeah. And that,
you had the chance to listen to it already.
Parts of it.
Good.
And you know that they have done very well after me, so they have followed their own hearts, and that's exactly what they should do. And if the destiny decides, or maybe more like we decide together, because we are in touch and we are friends.
That's really good.
When the time comes to do something like that, then we should just sit down and talk about it. I mean, I met Jens in Helsinki about a month ago, and I talked to the guys, and Jari is a very good friend of mine. So, but this kind of thing, I don't know, man. But I would be up. I would be up for it if it would be we would compose, me and Timo and Matthias and Jens, because that band has a lot of talent in there. That current band has a lot of talent in there. So the possibilities are really, really good for that. But it's really not now. I don't see it happening.
I understand. And there's just so much that one can plan. But like you say, it's good to know that at least maybe the doors are not closed. You never know, kind of thing.
Well, have you heard the story what happened to Halloween, actually, how they actually started this?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Well, I'm in touch with Kiske from time to time. He's my friend, and he's singing some of my records. So they were in festival Halloween and Unisonic, Okay. And it was like Michael Weikat and Kiske. They have I guess they were like enemies or something.
I mean, there was something with
bad related
Michael Weikat. Yeah.
And then by the grace of God or whatever, they just met accidentally backstage.
No way.
Yeah, Weikat and Kiske, and they were like staring at each other. And what do we say? And actually, Weikat said to Michael Kiske like this, "What have I done so bad that you can't forgive me?" And Kiske said, after thinking about it for a while, I think I did it 4 years ago. So that was the starting point of this Pumpkins United.
Cool.
Well, that's incredible. Just before we tell our followers that story, I just wanted to compliment that with something that I just read 20 minutes ago. There's a festival going on right now, I think, or last week, which is Rock in Rio in Brazil.
Yeah.
And I think Dream Theater is playing there, and also Metal Allegiance, which is one of Mike Portnoy's projects.
Right.
And I just saw like literally 20 minutes before starting the interview, there was this photo in social media with Mike Portnoy hugging James Labrie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know them, but Mike Portnoy left Dream Theater not in very good terms, and I think that there was some sort of problem between him and James actually. And there is this photo, and they're hugging, and there is a little, obviously, paragraph from Mike Portnoy, and it says very similar things to what you just described. It said, like, we kind of polished some things. It's just been so long, and we actually sat and talked and something like that, and it was like, man, it's just been so long. I mean, let's just forget about it, and we're all good now. And so exactly the same thing. So, and again, we, Dream Theater fans, every time we see a photo of Mike Portnoy with the original guys, we're like, I know, we go nuts. At the end of the day, it's the same message. Yeah,
exactly. I did go to see Stratavarius in Helsinki about, I think, 2.5 years ago, because they invited me there.
Okay.
And I haven't been
we did cover that. I mean, you made it in the news, basically. Yeah.
We put the photos in the
there was a photo, like 1 million likes in an hour.
Huge reaction in our post.
I know. That was just such a cool thing to meet them after 10 years.
Okay. Voy a tratar de resumir todo. Básicamente le preguntaron si había alguna posibilidad de tocar con Stratavarius de nuevo. Y dice que claro, o sea, por un lado, si faltara el dinero y hubiera que hacerlo como muchas reuniones se han hecho, puede ser. Pero que actualmente...
Como que en realidad dijo que solo por la plata no lo haría, sino que tiene que haber algo más.
Pero en el fondo, que dice que está en contacto con Stratavarius. De hecho, se encontró, lo que decíamos hace poco, que se encontró con Stratavarius hace 2 años, lo invitaron a un show, compartimos nosotros esa foto, y que está en contacto con ella y que está feliz. De hecho, escuchó gran parte del nuevo disco que se lanza próximamente.
Dice que le gustó,
que dice que le gustó, que está muy bueno, que está feliz de que, a pesar de todo, que de todo lo que pasó, que Stratavarius haya seguido adelante, que ha crecido mucho, que es una banda con mucho talento, y que no se niega al futuro. Si el destino o lo que sea llega a hacer que toquen, que se puedan crear juntos, lo van a hacer, pero que en este momento no lo ve como algo natural, en este momento tal cual. Y a la vez, como el tema es el famoso Stratavarius United, como el Halloween United, nos contó cómo partió el Halloween United. Nos dice que él tiene contacto directo con Michael Kiske porque son amigos, y que Kiske le contó que fue en un festival de metal donde estaba tocando Unisonic y Halloween, que se encontraron en el backstage de golpe, así iban caminando, y Micah con Michael Kiske se encontraron de frente, y Micah reaccionó, se miraron, no saben qué hacer, y Micah dice algo como, ¿qué es lo que hice tan... Sí, ¿qué hice tanto? ¿Cuál fue el daño que te hice que no me quieras hablar después de tanto tiempo? Y Michael Kiske le responde, se da cuenta, piensa y dice, ¿sabes qué? Ni me acuerdo. Y ahí empezó las conversaciones para la reunión actual. Y Hernán lo comparó un poco con lo que pasó esta semana cuando subieron fotos desde el Rock in Rio, James Labrie con Mike Portnoy, que lo mismo, que pusieron la foto los dos juntos abrazándose, y que era como, no puedes, lo que pasó hace tiempo,
todo bien,
que
ahora
queda
está
atrás.
todo bien. Sí.
Exacto. Básicamente eso, bien resumido.
Sí, exacto, I mean, it's really on a personal note, it's really nice to hear you, Timo. Like, you sound very wholesome and very it's like, life goes forward, and no animosity. If it happens, it's gonna be great. If not, I think that that's the right approach.
I'm very happy and content, but it took like 56 years.
Exactly. Timo, I wanted to ask you something about, I already asked you about, your favorite Stratavarius album. I wanted to ask you the same thing about your other bands and all your projects. What albums do you cherish the most? Is it Avalon, Revolution, Renaissance, Symphonia?
Avalon, not so much. Avalon is more like a project of the Frontiers record company.
All right.
So,
another Frontiers project.
Another
Well, actually, Avalon must have been. Oh, hold on.
In this podcast, every time we say that this is a Frontiers project because all the Frontiers projects are the same.
I want to give Avalon some credit here.
Me too,
because it must have been one of the very first, but when Avalon did it, it wasn't like now. Now you've got 30 of those projects.
I think that they had in mind to jump into Avantasia bandwagon.
I will go for another beer.
Have a good
Let's
one.
talk. Just talk.
I think they had an idea to go to that bandwagon with Avantasia and call it like Avalon.
But say among your other albums that you have done yourself or maybe participated, what kind of albums you really
Well, for
like?
me, it's got to be Hymn to Life, my second solo record. I don't know if you have heard it, but that is very important record for me because that is so brutally honest.
I was gonna say your solo projects obviously sound very personal.
I think my music is personal, man. But maybe even more personal. You're right, and Hymn to Life definitely is like that. And funnily enough, I composed that record on tour, Infinite Tour.
All right.
Because on the contrary, what people might think that there's a lot of time on tour to do nothing, and if there's anything else,
I wouldn't have.
There is a lot. I mean, you come. Let's say, in Europe, we did like 6 weeks, and we lived in a bus with 15 guys. Like 15 guys means 30 tennis socks.
My!
And of course, we had like a off day. We had a hotel, but mainly it was bus. And then you come to the city. It's like 10 in the morning, and you play at 10 in the evening. So it's 12 hours, nothing to do.
Yeah.
So what I did was I booked myself into a hotel in every city, and then I just started composing songs with. I think I had like Fostex 4-track. Yeah, Fostex 4-track recorder, and I composed the whole Hymn to Life on that tour.
Oh, wow, that's interesting to know. Sí, entonces no estaba yo le pregunté un poco por los álbumes que a él le gustan de sus otros proyectos y decía que quizás Avalon, quizás no tanto porque era una cosa un poco más un proyecto de Frontiers y ahí nos reíamos.
Ahí está.
Pero después hablamos de que él nos decía que su segundo disco de solista es un disco muy importante para él y que le gusta mucho y que es algo que de hecho compuso mientras la gira del Infinite. Él decía, aunque ustedes no lo crean, cuando uno está de gira hay caletas de tiempo muerto. Entonces él se iba a un hotel en la ciudad donde estaba, porque estaba todo el día en el bus con su banda y el crew. Entonces decía que, claro, trataba de irse a unos hoteles en cada ciudad en donde llegaba y ahí componía, y ahí compuso ese álbum.
But I have to say one thing for Frontiers because it's their right, to do that business model like that. That they've been very good to me. I have nothing bad to say about these guys. In fact, I met them in Helsinki about 3 weeks ago before I came here. We talked about certain things, and they actually asked me if I want to do one more Avalon, and I said no, I don't.
No, for real, we love Frontiers because Frontiers now is working a lot with Chilean people. It's one of the places of the records that are looking for a lot of guys from Chile, Argentina.
Yes.
So for us, it's a joke. It's like a joke.
We're just being a bit silly, but yeah.
There's a lot of talent in this continent, but it's really that Frontiers, it's their business model, and I have nothing against it, but it's more like being a producer. I need to have a certain amount of control,
Yeah.
And with them, it's like they want to have the control, so there's like a conflict of interests.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we actually make jokes about it because being such a big record, I think there's so many releases, and then you listen to them on in our style, in our genre. Yeah, there's quite a few that sound very similar. So one cannot help but wonder why all these things sound the same thing. It must be like a Frontiers sort of, they have the control over the writing.
They take control. I mean, it's really the company of Serafino Perugino, who's like the president of it. And he's actually a cool guy. He has a vision that he follows, and I respect that.
Yeah, actually, like Karim said, we just joke about it, and obviously we do have our criticisms with any album or company, whatever it is. But
it's hard to please everybody.
We're just being silly, but yeah.
It's very hard to please everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
Básicamente hablamos de nuestra típica talla de Frontiers, que sacan discos de Frontiers, todo, pero le explicamos que es una talla. Dice que Frontiers se sacó, de hecho, para plantear un nuevo álbum de Avalon y que no estaba muy de acuerdo porque él actualmente quiere estar fuera de los sellos y el tema de los sellos que quieran tener control, eso no le gusta mucho.
Claro,
pero en el
pero
fondo,
él dice que no tiene ninguna, como que todo bien con ellos.
mala
¿Cachai?
onda.
Como que dice que
No.
son bacanes, como que tiene buena onda, sí. Right, Tio, so...
Of course, I gotta say that I have a very dear memories of Sinfonia with Angra. You know, this was a really nice time, and the way the record was done, it was like almost nothing I've ever done before. It was totally different. If we have time, I can tell a couple of stories because...
Yeah, actually, it's really... Actually, yeah, go ahead then. Let's talk about
this. Was like, you know, Angra moved to Ystad in Sweden, which is like a country next to Finland, where I live. And you know, I heard about it. I hadn't heard anything about it since we toured together with Destiny. We toured with Angra.
Right.
And I remember that he spent a lot of time in our tour bus, Andre, because somehow there was some whatever's going on in Angra. He didn't like to be with the other guys. So then I gave him a call and I said, I heard you moved to Sweden. Like, what are you doing there? I got married, and I have a kid and stuff. And then I said, why don't you come to Finland, to Helsinki, and we talk about things? And because I still have, although he's gone, a huge amount of respect to him as a musician, you know. And then I started doing songs, composing songs. I flew to his home and we did some demos, and we got a deal with Edel, which is actually Stratavarius record company.
All right.
And finally, that demo was played by Rolf, the drummer of Stratavarius.
All right.
Before he joined Stratavarius.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and then I flew to Sweden to record the vocals of this album, and we rented this cabin up on the mountaintop on winter time, and it was like you could see deers and rabbits and, you know, wildlife, and there was a lot of snow, and he was driving his Volvo in the snow, and I'm like, can you drive this? You're Brazilian. And yeah, I can. And then we go to the cabin, and he says to me that, Timo, I don't have any lyrics. I'm like, okay, well, don't you think you should write the lyrics? Because we are here to record your vocals, man. and what he did, he took a piece of paper, he sat down, and he wrote the lyric. Then he showed it to me, and we agreed the lyric. Oh, it's a good lyric. Yeah, it's a good lyric. He sang the song, and then he did the next one. So every single song, he wrote the lyrics on spot in that cabin.
Goodness.
And then he sang it. And I wish I had sometime the handwritten lyric. I don't find them anymore, unfortunately. It would be a really piece of gold now for my memories. You know.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful guy, such an intelligent, hugely intelligent guy, too intelligent. And we had long discussions about everything. And we really had a lot of respect to each other. And we did this song called Santiago, actually. It's on that record.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It is about Chile, actually, this song.
Okay.
I do remember reading that.
Yeah, it's a song about Santiago, Chile.
Luis mismo Tolkki quiso hablar un poco de su relación con André Matos, basado en Sinfonia, en estos otros proyectos, y dice que la idea partió, o sea, un poco cuando se estaba grabando el disco, él empezaba, y más encima que ellos viajaban en tour, estuvieron en un tour con Angra, y en ese tiempo el mismo André Matos parece que ya no tenía buena relación con el resto de la banda, por tanto se movía por separado. Y ahí
¿Cómo? O sea, se iba en el bus de Stratavarius.
Sí. Entonces empezaron a conversar y nació esta idea de hacer Sinfonia, y de hecho el proyecto empieza a darse a cundir, y él dice, ¿sabes qué? Vamos a grabarlo. Y se consigue una cabaña arriba de una montaña en Finlandia, si no me equivoco, donde
no, en Suecia, sí, para grabar las voces de este
para grabar las voces de André Matos, se va con él, se van los dos. Dice que había nieve, que pasaban los ciervos, pasaban los conejos, todo. Y llega el momento de grabar las voces, André Matos le dice, tengo un problema.
No tengo
¿Qué es lo que tengo que cantar? No hay letra.
No tengo las letras. Little problem.
Entonces, Timo le hizo, ok, entonces escríbelas. Y ahí entre las conversas, nace toda la letra y toda la composición de Sinfonia. De hecho, la canción Santiago es básicamente de Santiago de Chile, habla de eso. Entonces, y que era una persona espectacular, una persona con que tuvo mucho contacto, con que hubo una excelente relación, que lamentablemente ya sabemos lo que pasó con André Matos, pero espectacular.
See, now, thank you for sharing those stories with us, Timo. Actually, you, I had a question about Andre,
sure.
later on the guide, but I'm very happy that it came naturally and that you shared those stories, mate. We have not just because he's from South America. Actually, we were talking the other day in our podcast about that he was, he must have been the first South American metal hero for us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he was actually. The whole Angra guys were. I mean, they were huge in Japan. I mean, they sold gold with Angels Cry, which is 100,000 records for foreign bands. That's a really amazing, thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. On a very personal note, I have never ever heard anything sound like Angra and what they did back then. I just have the highest of respect for these guys, and then on top of that, from testimonies like yours, and other people from the scene, we have come to learn that he was a really beautiful, warm soul.
Yeah, he was sometimes difficult.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But who isn't?
Exactly. Yeah.
But never arrogant, never violent, never like that.
All the geniuses, they say, have some.
Well, he certainly was one. I mean, I remember we were playing the Symphonia, this Lasting Child, which is Angra's song, and it's like he showed it to me, and I'm like, "What is this?" I have no idea what's happening to this song. I mean, he showed it because he was a great piano player, so he played on the piano. He says, "This goes like this." Every note changes, every chord changes. I'm like, I don't get it, man. I don't understand anything about this. So what I had to do, I had to write the chords on a piece of paper for the live show, and I was reading the chords. I didn't get it. I still don't understand what he did it on that song, but it's like a really complicated contrapunct or whatever, classical stuff, because he was a classical piano player.
Yeah, he was. I think he was trained, or I don't know if self-trained or trained by in a huge classical.
No, he went to some music school in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, formally trained. Yeah,
he was formally trained.
Sí, entonces sí estábamos hablando un poquitito más de André.
Dale, tú está contestando a la gente.
Dale, sí, no, eso estábamos hablando un poquitito más de André. Nos contaba algunas tallas de sinfonía, de que una canción, Lasting Child, que era de Angra, que cuando querían tocarla en vivo en sinfonía, Timo decía que era súper complejo y que no entendía qué es lo que era, entonces anotaba un poco los acordes para poder seguirlo. Entonces sí, algunas tallas de André. Right, Gio, let me see what else I've got here.
The other collaborations.
Do you like being invited to do collaborations, Timo? Because obviously, you have collaborated with a lot of people, Ale Lande, Edgar, Yavantasia. It is something that you enjoy. There's some fun memories about it, or it's more like a chore. I don't know.
No, I'm very selective, but I do stuff like that. But actually, I just met Tobias Summit at the airport accidentally in Helsinki, and I haven't seen him. I hadn't seen him also like 10 years or so. And my little big friend from Fulda, there he was, and I went and we hugged, and we had a lot of memories, of course. I mean, the funniest thing was that I was doing press for the episode in Germany. In my hotel room, and I had a full day of interviews. And the last interview was done with the guy called Tobias Summit. No idea who he is, of course. And then this guy opens the door with the CD player. And the first thing he says to me is, "Sorry, man, I'm not a journalist, but this was the only way to meet you. And I would like you to produce our next record," which was then Vainglory Opera. So he cooked up this kind of thing to meet me, and then he played me the music, and I loved it, and this guy is amazing, And he called me every day to ask questions about stuff, and I told him, because these are not secrets, I've been helping bands and musicians. It's really not a secret, to these things, and publishing merchandise. He asked me a lot of questions, but yeah, that was a funny story about him. He actually, he actually came to see me like that as a journalist.
Eso es chistoso, sí. Dale, Karim.
Sí, le preguntamos básicamente si había que esto de las colaboraciones, porque ha estado
Yo
con
vi los caraguas,
Adelante, con Avantasia, yo voy a hacer algunas preguntas del público mientras, con Avantasia, con Alelande, con Edgar, y le preguntamos si alguna en particular le recuerda algo, le gusta, tiene alguna relación con eso, y dice que más que eso, sí, lo entretiene, pero sí contó una historia bastante que no habíamos oído, que es cómo conoció a Tobias Sammet, con el que se encontró el fin de semana, entiendo, en Helsinki, en el aeropuerto. Dice que para la época del Vanglorious Opera, que él produjo, él tenía tuvo una serie de entrevistas eternas, todo el día con entrevistas, y el último que entró era un
hueón, que decía Tobias Sammet.
Un hueón alemán, flaquito, que traía que dijo, se llama Tobias Sammet, y le dice, hola, la verdad yo no soy periodista, pero es la única forma que puedo mostrarte mi música que quiero que la produzcas. Y le pasa el CD del Vanglorious Opera, obviamente lo escuchó, le gustó, y de ahí parte la historia con Tobias Sammet, que luego trajo participaciones con Edgar y con Avantasia, pero así que dale.
Funny stories. We'll have to schedule another session. You know, I mean, I feel like
this is a very lovely interview. For real, it's amazing to be talking with you. Only for the people. Para la gente, recuerden que Timo Tolkki va a estar en Chile el 20 de octubre presentándose junto a Alessandro Conti, Alex Landeburg, Mikko Harkkinen y me falta uno, es Jari Kainulainen en los 25 años de Bichos. Esta es la razón de la entrevista, así que cabro, porfa, ya nos dijo, o sea, si la gente lo apoya, él va a seguir girando porque esto se trata de vivir. Entonces, ojo, este va a estar un concierto imperdible. Más encima que esta semana tenemos a Beast in Black, a Udo, a Nightwish, o sea, tenemos una semana de power metal espectacular que creo que cierra con el show de Timo Tolkki, así que imperdible. De hecho, yo estoy en Arica y esa semana me la paso en Santiago para ver todos los shows.
Bueno, yeah. Yeah, well, just realized, we've been talking for an hour, so I'm gonna...
Time flies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're so grateful to have you here, mate. But yeah, I'm gonna ask you the last question about this section, and then I'm just gonna throw you the last few bits about the Chilean show. So the last question I had here, it's again, I always like to ask these questions again to our guests. So the 90s were not just for me, I think for us and for a lot of people, the golden era of power metal or for power metal. And, the most important bands of the genre consolidated their careers in that decade. I think, Stratavarius, Rhapsody, Hammerfall, Halloween, Edgar, Nightwish, etc. Which I think, to me, they remain to be the greatest bands and the classics, of the genre. But then also in recent times, of course, we have to acknowledge that, all the bands like, Sabaton, Powerwolf, Battle Beast, some other, power metal bands have also been, are really successful nowadays and seem to be at the top of their game, headlining festivals and all that kind of stuff. So 2 questions about that. One question is like, if you happen to listen to any of these more newer power metal bands, and if there's any particular one that you may like. And the other question is, if you are aware of these bands, what bands do you think that are going to be, the next big ones once the ones that I just mentioned, the big ones, decide to retire?
Yeah, well, actually, the first question is that sometimes I think we started a curse.
How come?
Well, because there's like millions of these bands, and they send me the demos, and I get like every day a version of Stratosphere to my inbox. And I'm like, with all the respect, guys, I really don't want to listen to that anymore. So, but it's lovely when you see actually how famous that song is on this continent. But, I just, because some of these, maybe even most of the bands are really not that creative. And it's part of the history, too, of these bands, because they have to, at some point, to do some of their own. As an artist, they have to go somewhere else. And I just did a masterclass about stuff like this, that you got to find your own way, So I am really unaware of what's going on. I am kind of boring in that I am listening to not so much metal anymore, but a lot of classical music, a lot of pop music, I really love ABBA, the Beatles. That's where I started. That's where I come from, you know.
Yeah.
And Deep Purple, Rainbow, all these things. But I like newer music too. Like I love U2 and I love Coldplay.
Right.
You know? So my musical taste is I have a big variety of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm friends with most of these bands, and I mean, I went to see Sabaton, and I know the guys, and this was brilliant show. I think it was pretty bigger than Rammstein. So
it's incredible how big those guys have become. It's incredible. Yeah.
It's weird because they only sing about First World War. I'm like,
I think it's because of that.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the things they sing, because they are talking about history and
only First World War.
I don't know why, but people love history.
Okay.
In Europe,
they have a song called Talvisota, which is Finnish language called Winter War.
All right.
But their song is like Talvisota, and it's about that war.
Actually, Timo, can I ask you something about, because you are obviously like an insider, of the industry. You know things that we do not. And actually, I'm gonna take actually Sabaton as an example, because as much as we love it and we like their music and all that, I'm just talking on a personal note. I'm not representing my website or anything like that. I do find interesting that such a niche and a very specific. I mean, most of their albums sound very similar, and it's not a music that, in the first place, I would have thought that it would appeal to everybody. They're not Kiss, so to speak, although they are as big as Kiss these days. So basically, our hypothesis, and sometimes we talk about this in the podcast, is like, to what extent these bands are actually very big because there's a lot of marketing behind them because of the company records, or because obviously, these guys, then they release their, not just the album, but, the T-shirt and the merchandise and a lot of things. So you know that there is a lot of backup from, the companies back, if you know what I mean. So that's where I'm trying to get at. So how does that work in the industry? They select some bands and they decide to actually put a lot of money on them, or, to what extent their success is it's pushed by marketing and not just their music. You know where I'm trying to get at? Yeah.
I would not say that in metal it's like that.
1 second, I will disconnect for the camera and I will return. Okay. Let's talk.
I don't think in metal it's like that. I think it's like regarding Sabaton, they've been existing for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I think it's pretty much like heavy touring. Like Iron Maiden did a lot of touring. That's how they earned their success, really.
Absolutely.
So regarding Sabaton, I think it's just exactly with Hammerfall. These guys just stick to their stuff, and they just kept putting out good records and toured a lot, and people respect this. So this is the real reason. I don't really see in heavy metal anything like that, but of course in pop music it's an entirely different thing.
Yeah. That's where you see the artists are just like marketing products.
Exactly.
Somehow. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. But it's good to know your opinion, man, because sometimes I cannot help but wonder. It's like this seems like a band. It's a band of a.
No, it's not.
No. Yeah, I mean, and I was using Sabaton just as an example. I'm not saying that they are like that, but they are one of these bands that are really, really, really big. And
I think it's fucking weird that everything is about First World War. Why first? Why not second?
Yeah, and the other thing that we think plays a big part in their success is that, especially in Europe, I think, and maybe in all of the Western world. Bands that actually dress up, and bands like put up a show and a lot of lights and all that seems to have a really powerful effect on people, because
people love it.
People love it because there's a lot of all of these power metal bands that are actually, again, dress up and putting a show and all that. And I'm not saying this as I'm all for that. I'm not criticizing or anything, but I'm just saying it's a question. In your opinion, does that play a part in their success? As in, like, putting a gigantic show?
I don't think these bands, when they start, they don't have money to do the show.
No, of course not. Yeah.
So I mean, with Stratavarius, we never really dressed up. We just played like thousands of gigs, and did our music, and that was it. But I mean, to do a show, I mean, I saw fabulous shows. Dio had sometimes, he had a dragon.
No, absolutely, yeah. But say, I'm just gonna play the advocate's devil a bit, but but bands like Stratavarius or Rhapsody or Night, Wish or Hammerfall, all of those bands that you have just named, huge, beautiful, the best bands of the genre. They don't need to. I mean, this sounds judgmental. But
I understand.
You don't dress up. You don't really. It's all about the music. Whereas, and again, and I'm not criticizing, but some other bands obviously choose just to do something different. So sometimes we just.
I think it's at the end of the day, it's really what you like. Everybody can like it, whatever they want. That's the beauty of music, I think.
Yeah.
You can like whatever. If you like Britney Spears, if you like Backstreet Boys. Actually, I do like Backstreet Boys.
Good. That's gonna make it to our headlining. Timo Tolkki likes Backstreet Boys.
Me too. Me too. I love Backstreet Boys. Is the best. I love it.
Maybe not the best, but
exactly.
A very big band. It's very nice band.
So I'm gonna try to give a brief summary to our.
Dale tú porque no escuché nada.
Sí, no, puta, a ver, yo ya me voy a perder. Sí, le preguntaba un poco de si escuchaba bandas nuevas de Power y en verdad me decía que no mucho, que escucha harto pop, escucha cosas como Coldplay o YouTube, creo que.
Básicamente porque ya lo escuchó, como él creó Power Metal, claro. Es como escucharse mismo y para escucharse mismo no tiene una gracia.
Entre líneas, yo creo que lo que trató de decir, claro, es que hay muchas bandas de ahora que en realidad son copias, que la weá son copias porque dice que le llega música y que siempre que suena muy, muy parecido y él dice, recién hizo un seminario y lo que yo trato de enseñarle a la gente o le digo es que tienen que encontrar su propio camino, su propio sonido, su propia identidad. Entonces, como que entre líneas creo que nos quiso decir que en realidad el power metal o el metal en general o la música un poquito más contemporánea pareciera ser que hay harto de que se repite la fórmula, no sé si te dio la misma sensación, Karin, pero creo que era como una crítica, como que por ahí iba así. ¿Y qué más? No, después yo le preguntaba un poquito, le pregunté por el tema de Sabaton.
Por los disfraces,
siempre discutimos, claro, no solo de Sabaton puntualmente, sino que las bandas que le ponen muchas lucas a su show en términos de disfrazarse, las luces, de cosas más teatrales. Yo le preguntaba un poquitito en su opinión si eso tenía que ver un poco con su éxito o no. Entonces él decía, mira, a la gente le gusta eso y todo, pero al final del día tiene, de hecho, una opinión bastante sana desde ese punto de vista. Decía, mira, la belleza de la música es que a todo el mundo le puede gustar cualquier cosa y bacán, si a la gente le gusta y son exitosos por eso, qué bueno. Entonces, sí, seguro que se me están pasando algunas cosas, pero igual yo creo que la gente que nos escucha puede entender bastante de lo que estamos conversando, así que eso. Right, Timo. So I'm just going to ask you the last few things regarding the show in Chile. So you have visited us, visited Chile.
You asked the one question about Caterina Nix. I think it's very important.
That belongs in this section.
Okay.
So talking about Chile, I wanted to talk to you about or ask you about Caterina Nix. Our Chilean singer. Actually, she obviously she collaborated with you. I think that she gave quite a some recognition after she actually collaborated with you, and it's interesting to see, obviously, for us to see now that she will be actually opening with her band your show. So
Chaos Magic.
Chaos Magic. Yeah. So did you have a part in that, or just random, or how?
No, she asked me.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, brilliant.
That's it. I mean, we are friends since I met her, I think, 99 for the first time. She was like 14 at that time.
99?
That's when I met her for the first time. Yeah. She was in the press conference, and I don't know what she was doing there, but then we talked and we became friends, and I guess I've been kind of father figure for her, So we've been in touch all the time, actually. We talk every now and then she asked me, like, can I be there? I said, sure, come over.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, that's really good. That's really nice. Have you heard Chaos Magic music?
Yes, of course. She's brilliant. I mean, really, really talented.
Awesome. Brilliant. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. And then I wanted to ask you about, well, you have been to our country, quite a few times. So I wanted to ask you, and you have wanted to come some other times, and because, COVID and also, different stuff, things sometimes cannot take place. But I wanted to ask you about your connection to our country, because you do seem to be quite connected, and maybe not just to Chile, but the whole region, South America. But obviously I wanted to ask you about you and Chile.
It's a magical place, this whole continent. I think it's a history. I've been studying a bit, and I know a little bit what happened, but in Chile, I really have been just in Santiago.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Kathy has actually like some holiday place in Viña del Mar.
Oh, there you go. You should visit.
Yeah.
It's a nice place.
Because I love ocean and I really love sea.
And it's quite close to Santiago, to be fair.
Is it? Cool.
Yes, I mean, like 1 hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
An hour
and a half driving?
Yes.
You know, when I was there back in 2019, that was about a month ago before the riot started. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I heard about it, and then I can see that the government is shooting its own people, and that's, you know, always like, what the fuck is that? I mean, so I was almost there. I almost saw that, you know.
All right.
Even Dream Theater will be playing this weekend in Viña del Mar, not in Santiago.
Really?
Yeah, actually, Dream Theater is going to be playing in Viña del Mar. Yeah, you know, beautiful venue. Beautiful
not in Santiago, only in Viña del Mar. It's very interesting.
And of course, since I love Sting a lot, and Sting has a song called Valparaiso, so I kind of romantic connection.
If I'm not mistaken, he has actually played in Viña del Mar as well, because they host like a really big Latin music festival. So there's a lot of big bands that have.
Actually, we almost went there with Kathy once.
Oh, good. Yeah. If you have the chance, you should. Yeah.
It was very close.
Good. Yeah. Just give me a second to tell our mates. Sí, le pregunté por su conexión a Chile, pues me decía que es un lugar muy mágico, que le encanta mucho el público acá, la gente y todo, y nos habló un poquitito de que la Caterina tiene un lugar de vacaciones en Viña, y yo le decía que bueno, que ojalá que pueda ir y todo, entonces estábamos conversando un poquitito de eso. De hecho, dice que también casi vivió estuvo aquí un poquitito antes de la revuelta social del 18 de octubre,
sí.
Así que harta conexión con el país también, pues. Eso nomás tenía aquí, Karim. Le iba a preguntar alguna anécdota o algo así, o un mensaje para los fans. No sé si queremos preguntarle, Timo, can we shoot you a few questions of the, I don't know if there's some questions of the people that has been asking some things.
Well,
si tenía algo ahí, Karim.
Very simple questions. The first one, what is your favorite song of the new Stratavarius?
That would be probably Winter Skies from Polaris.
Dice que su canción favorita del Stratavarius actual, que no lo incluye a él, es Winter Sky de
Polaris.
Del Polaris.
Timo, I wanted to say you seem to have quite a good grasp of Spanish. Have you been studying? Is your time in Mexico helping? What's going on there?
I'm afraid I only speak bad stuff. They teach me the worst things.
But no, you do seem to understand what we're talking about.
No, I understand quite a bit, but when it gets too fast, then I don't get it.
Yeah, no, we do speak fast, especially Karim. Karim speaks
he's very
really fast. So
because I'm the one guy that had to write this thing. Okay.
What can you expect from a guy whose last name is Sabbath?
Exactly, absolutely.
And like 1 hour before the interview, I was in the ER, in the OR room, operating one guy from this. So I'm running all the time.
Are you a doctor?
I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
Okay.
And in my free time, I'm Italian guy.
Okay. Makes sense.
This question pregunta si tienes contacto con Tuomo Lassila e Antti Ikonen. If you had contact with Tuomo Lassila and Antti Ikonen.
Oh yeah, I just met them like a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we had coffee together and we talked about old times, and they've been very good friends of mine all the time, actually.
Sí, dicen que son muy buenos amigos y que siempre están en contacto.
De Tuomo Lassila y Antti Ikonen, miembros, ex miembros, o sea, miembros del Stratavarius más antiguo. The same area Scott is asking you why the Visions tour didn't came to Chile.
Is he talking about
97?
The original Visions tour.
That's a good question.
I was gonna say you need to.
I have no idea.
We don't know.
Start remembering from 30 years.
I have no idea. I really don't know.
No,
that tour came to America.
He killed you,
yeah. I think we were in Brazil. We were in Brazil, at least in Brazil, and I think we were Argentina and Brazil at least. We were.
Right, so we are going to blame Chilean producer. Let's blame them. Yeah,
it's not my fault.
Yeah.
And Ray Scott, that guy is asking a lot of questions because he loves you. Timo, have you difficult to play and sing at the same time in the
albums
this album before Four Dimension?
No, not really. It's but I wanted to take the music to another place, and that would require somebody like Kotipelto, definitely, because I can't do stuff like that at all. So I don't have any technique, actually. I always sang I was there to sing, so I just sang. So, but I had no difficulties, actually, no.
Okay. Sí, le preguntamos que no tenga dificultades. Básicamente, la diferencia es que Timo Tolkki tiene mucho mejor habilidad de canto, entonces obviamente prefiere que Tolkki cante.
Para lo que él quería lograr con la música, necesitaba algo así.
Sí. Estamos con problemas acá de luz.
I can still sing.
Okay.
Sure
the next question is from Carlos Visual. What was the inspiration for Visual for the creation of Destiny? He's from Punta Arenas, the southern part from Chile.
Yeah.
I had very big inspiration. It was what I call divorce record. I was in the middle of a very bad divorce on that record.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
right.
It's a very dark place, and most of the songs are kind of. But there's some hope in there. That always there's hope, you know.
It's interesting. I'm gonna look at the album with different eyes now, because now that I think of it, I haven't really paid attention to the lyrics. I mean, I know that album back and forth. I love it. But now I'm gonna actually pay attention to the lyrics, and I'm gonna actually,
there are like songs like Years Go By, and then 4,000 Rainy Nights I wrote to my wife, and actually 4,000 Rainy Nights it's raining now here. That's a song about, because I calculated how much time I spent with her. It was like 12 years, and that's like 4,223 days. But you can't sing 4,223 days, so I made it up to 4,000.
Well, that's I mean, despite the circumstances, it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we're friends now. So I mean, life, you know, in life, it's like you gotta be friends. I mean, there's no time. Life is so short.
Absolutely,
you just can't have this kind of thing going on, you know?
Le preguntamos básicamente le preguntó a lo visual cuál es la inspiración para la creación del disco Destiny. Dice que en verdad habría que preguntarle al resto de Stratavarius, porque en ese tiempo las relaciones estaban malas y que salvo 40,000 nights.
No, 40,000, 4,000.
4,000, no 40,000.
No, pero estaba pasando por
40,000 would be like 120 years.
Sí, too much time.
Too much time with any woman.
Exactly, yeah. No, es que lo que te faltó compartir, Karim, es que estaba pasando por un mal momento, pero por un divorcio con su esposa.
Un divorcio.
Entonces, por ahí estaba en un mal momento. Y claro, y por ahí viene un poquito de inspiración, y por eso, por ejemplo, esa canción tiene que ver con la cantidad de noches que había pasado, obviamente, casado.
No fueron tantas.
40,000. 40,000.
Okay.
It's more romantic that way, you know.
Yes, it's more time.
Yeah, it's
more difficult.
But it's a really long time to spend with
anyone.
Yeah.
400,000 rainy nights.
Daniel Robledo pregunta it
says basically, have you ever thought of actually singing again, in like recording, you know, in a studio? Because he says, I saw him in a show in Blondie in 2019 singing Hold On to Your Dream, and he was really good. You know, that you did it well, basically.
Yes, I have thought about it.
And are you gonna do it?
Who knows?
You should, mate.
God only knows.
You know, maybe like a bonus track, you know, or like an EP or something.
Maybe more.
You should. I'm sure your fans would love it. I would be curious to hear you, mate. I was actually trying to find some old videos of Stratavarius today. You know,
there's a lot of them
for this interview, and it's lovely, and actually I didn't kind of even remember, because, you know, like the classic times or all the albums that you love, or you know,
the beginning.
So and I was like, oh yeah, I remember Timo actually used to sing.
First three records.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. ¿Vamos cerrando, Karim, o tenía algo
un par de preguntas más? Un par de preguntas más. Le preguntamos si esto de que si ha pensado volver a cantar en estudio. Dice que no lo ha pensado, hay que ver cómo sea.
O sea, dice que sí lo ha pensado, pero que no sabe. Como que ahí va a cachar. Pero dice que sí lo ha pensado.
Dream Space Part 2? Yes or no?
What's with this part 2 and 3 and 400 and
4,000.
Yeah, 400,000.
4,000 Dream Space Rainy Night.
400,000.
Dice que hubo como mucha...
no tiene una respuesta para eso, en verdad.
Yeah. Humberto Muñoz is asking if you will play in... he's asking if you will play in Mexico.
No, dice que los vio.
No, pero además pregunta, en otro lado dice que pregunta si... Will you return to Mexico to play? No. Yes.
I am in Mexico.
He's playing in Mexico right now. Yeah.
I just played 2 shows here. And I have a show here on Friday in Durango. Then I have a show next week in Torreon. Then I go to Guatemala. Then I go to Costa Rica. Then I go to Patagonia. Then I go to Paraguay. Then I go to Uruguay. Then I go to Colombia. Then I go to Peru. Then Chile, of course, Argentina. It's a 26 gigs, man. See you later.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Is it my? I think are you recording one of your shows in Mexico?
Mexico City, 29th of October.
Should we then expect like a Blu-ray or something?
At least we're gonna record the audio.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Carrasco is asking if Friday Night has an influence of Halloween or another band. Friday Night.
Oh, Halloween was a big influence to me when I heard them. Like I think it was back in 86, 87, and then later, of course, everyone loves Keepers, and then I got Kiss to sing with me and all that stuff, and we met with Kai and great guys, great band, great music, a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, his question, he says like, you had influence, like he acknowledges that you had influence from Halloween, but he's asking if there was another, or if you were inspired by another band. I think that's
Rainbow for sure. Rainbow, the Purple, classical music.
Yeah, the classic stuff. Yeah.
Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath with Dio. I mean, all those things, and then pop music, ABBA, Beatles, those melodies, that's pretty much where I come from.
Speaking of Beatles, I forgot. I wanted to mention something. I just didn't want to interrupt you, but when you were actually telling us, when you were surprising us, saying that that you did actually sort of wrote visions in 2 days, and then when you said something about the lyrics, Andre writing these lyrics very quickly as well. I immediately thought of the Beatles because and then when you start studying a little bit about the Beatles, then you realize that these guys they would record an album in 1 day and they would write songs in half an hour, and that kind of reminded me that kind of
auto-tune there.
Yeah, no, crazy stuff. Yeah,
no, that's that band was like, I don't know. I mean, George Harrison said, actually, he said something about, he said that what they were doing, it was like a little PR for God. He said this, Harrison. I don't know if he was joking, but that's what he said.
Yeah, no, they were something else. They were something special.
You know why they stopped playing gigs? Because nobody listened to them. Everybody was just screaming, like 50,000 girls screaming.
Oh, yeah.
You can see Lennon in this Shea Stadium. He's introducing a song. It's like, next song is called like this, no language. And then he's doing like this, like watching to the heaven. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, they were doing PR for God.
Then they were saying like that sometimes our equipment broke and we didn't play anything, but they just kept screaming. They didn't even notice that we didn't play.
They say, they also say that they're like more often than not, they wouldn't be able to listen to themselves. So actually to play the songs, they would just look at each other to kind of guess, what I mean, like not having return.
They didn't have this.
They couldn't hear because of all the screaming.
Yeah, exactly. So think about on my gig here in Durango on Friday, if I play there and I stop playing, but everybody just continues screaming. What the fuck?
Cool.
You don't get that in Europe, do you?
Well, nobody gets it like that. Well, like they did it.
Sí, no, bueno, estábamos hablando, ya se me olvidó la pregunta, que igual nos preguntaron, Karim, pero
Sí, era básicamente, si por aquí la tengo, era básicamente cuál era su influencia. Habló de que Halloween y todas
sí,
las bandas clásicas para crear Friday Night, el inicio de su carrera. Y
sí,
después,
claro.
dale
Después
tú.
empezamos a hablar de Rainbow, The Purple Beatles y por ahí no fuimos en bola de eso.
ABBA.
ABBA
ABBA.
también, muy
No,
importante,
ABBA, I
sí.
love ABBA. I think now all the Sweden metal and rock music like Ghost,
They
Sabaton,
draw inspiration
Sure.
from,
Who
Battle Beast
isn't?
in Black, they are very the ABBA metal. It's like listening ABBA, but with a metal sound. I think.
Yeah. When I was 14, I had an ABBA poster on the wall.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I think that
Right,
that
yeah.
is the no. I
I
think there is
think
a
we're
very,
reaching
the last question of the
the
guys
last
is
question. Yeah.
no, not that is why you all play in little places. Have you been invited to very nice festival like Bakken or something, or do you like to be in very nice little places?
Well, you know how that goes. I mean, I guess just there's not enough people to come to see me. I mean, I play where they want to see me, and I don't really care. But I played Wacken. I played to 65,000 people. I was there 4 times, and
But
now I play in the places, I would say, from like maybe 150 to 700
Yeah.
okay.
kind of clubs. And to me, it's like, people are loving it, and that's enough for me.
I would be, I don't live in Chile anymore, so I'm not really sure about numbers, but I would believe that you're going to have much more people than that in this show, aren't you?
Oh, this is going to be sold out. I think it's getting there, and I think it's capacity is like 800. I think.
Is it in Caupolicán? No. Where is this taking place in Laberinto?
It's
Where is it taking place?
It's called Club Subterraneo.
Subterráneo.
Subterraneo,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
I'm sure.
It's underground. It's in a
Subterraneo means
subterráneo, for
underground,
real.
so it's probably
Yes,
underground.
for real.
I kind of like that. But yeah, we are selling very well their tickets.
I'm sure you're gonna sort that out.
Yeah, it looks like actually. Yes.
I will be there. So
there.
yes, I will be there. Let's talk in there.
You should invite my mate to backstage, Timo. Oh, I shouldn't be saying this.
You'll come there. We have a beer together.
There you go.
Or 2 or 20 or whatever.
And I will be there with a PowerMetal.cl
T-shirt or something. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I remember you.
Yeah, you please drink some beers.
The orthopedian metal guy.
That's the one. Yeah. He's gonna show up with the scalpel. So like, yeah, you remember me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Estamos hablando de que, bueno, recuerden que Timo Tolkki va a estar el 20 de octubre en el Club Subterráneo. Todavía hay entradas, no se queden fuera porque va a estar tocando en la gira de Vision.
Yo creo que se va a agotar, así que ojo ahí. Sí.
Dale la última pregunta, la clásica pregunta con que cerramos la entrevista. La entrevista más larga que hemos tenido, creo. Lejos la entrevista más larga.
Yeah, this has been the longest interview we've had, I think, and probably I don't remember laughing that much in an interview.
Yeah,
so
it's a good energy, man.
It's been absolutely wonderful, Timo. Yeah, I am meeting an idol of mine anyway, so I'm obviously open to here.
Very nice to hear.
Yeah, so now just the typical question is like, what if you want to say something to your fans, Chilean fans?
Yeah, okay.
At the light of
whatever
the show.
You want to say.
Well, everybody always says the same thing, but I'm going to use Coldplay in this, and this is going to be like this. In the end, it's all about the love you're sending out.
Nice.
And now thunder started. I hear thunder now. I'm sorry. Was it the wrong thing to say?
No.
I think that's really sums up everything I think about,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's very true. Whatever you do, if you do that, then you're gonna have a much better place here.
You're absolutely right, Timo. Yeah. So everybody's invited then to Timo's show, and the guys is gonna be absolutely brilliant. And I'm speaking in English and I'm talking to my people. Entonces sí, sí, eso. Todo invitado obviamente para ir a ver a Timo. Karim va seguramente, parece que se va a tomar unas pilsen.
No, yo estoy ya, estoy fijo. De hecho tengo.
No, por eso digo. Te voy a tomar unas pilsen con el maestro.
I would like to use this opportunity, being a little bit of salesman to get the tickets in advance, because we are selling this out,
I just passed this message before actually asking this question. Yeah, no, Timo está diciendo que compren su entrada, porque
la entrada se está acabando, así que compren, asegúrense. Porque
I think there's meet and greet too. You know.
I think there's meet and greet.
There is.
Yes, yeah.
There is. Yes.
No. I will look. Timo Tolkki Chile.
It's in Pass Line, I think.
Pass Line.
It is in Pass Line. Yeah.
Pass. Let's look at.
Yeah. All right, Timo. Yeah. Just on a personal note, if you ever stop by the UK, or if you do a gig in the UK,
Liverpool.
I'm gonna. Are you playing Liverpool?
I would hope so, because that's where the Beatles is from.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. If you come, I'm gonna meet you there, and I'm gonna go with these t-shirts. Like Timo, you remember me?
Yeah, let's talk and have beer and coffee.
Absolutely.
Okay. I will put let's share the place to.
We're gonna share the. Is it the venue or the?
I think it's Pass Line link. Probably Pass Line link.
Yes, I have the link.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course, actually, even if this didn't look like it, this interview was about promoting the show. So let's talk about this is
the place. It's Pass Line. In Pass Line, if you look for in Google, like Pass Line Timo Tolkki Chile, you have to buy the tickets. En Pass Line tú puedes comprar los tickets. Ya no hay entradas generales, quedan entradas general 2 que están a 25,000 pesos. It's like $20, $25.
It's good price as well. So
I don't know actually how much it is, but I do like to say that I really love to come back there and play, especially with this band.
It's like $25 for the normal ticket, and $40 for the meet and greet.
I don't know how much a ticket is, but I do want to say that we're going to have a really nice show with these guys.
Sí. Timo dice eso, que va a ser un show muy bueno, así que
mira, de hecho, Eisner, aquí, one guy is telling that originally there are sold out of tickets, but they changed the venue or something like that, and now are more tickets.
There are still some tickets left, but people should hurry.
So hurry up, rush, go get your tickets. Así que vayan a eso. Ya, Karim, ¿lo dejamos hasta acá?
Sí, pues fue 1 hora y media maravillosa con el gran Timo Tolkki. En verdad, this is a very, very, very lovely interview. We love you.
We love you too. I love you too.
And we will meet you in like 1 month.
Exactly.
Something like that.
1 month.
I will look for you there. So
look for me, man. Just come and grab my sleeve.
Yes, I will get you the XL. What do you need?
Maybe triple XL.
Okay, I will look for that.
We're gonna
as big as you find.
We're gonna get you something. But Timo, honestly, it's been absolutely lovely. And I'm saying this on a personal note, and as a website, it's been lovely to have you. You're one of the be responsible for actually us being here. Actually, I'm very sorry to extend myself, but I didn't say this, but it's actually this is true. The reason why I started listening to heavy metal, I was 13 years old. It was the year 2001. I still remember. I was transitioning from kind of secondary school to high school in the Chilean system. And I remember getting a CD with a bunch of different things, punk, rock, and all that kind of stuff. And there were I still remember, there were 3 or 4 metal songs. I remember there was Gethsemane from Nightwish, there was The Number of the Beast from Maiden, there was Interstellar from Metallica, and there was Black Diamond from Stratavarius. And this CD had a lot of music. And that's the one, mate. And ever since I listened to that record, obviously I fell in love with it, and that's the reason why it's my life now.
Why are you here?
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. It's So thank you.
Nice.
Timo, it was a beautiful interview. I hope to meet you some other time in the future, if
we will meet
God allowing. And thank you for being with us here.
Thank you, guys. You have a nice sleep well, and all the best to Chile. See you soon. Thank you, guys.
Adiós. See you,
Gracias. Adiós.
Bueno, y esto fue, nada que decir, esta fue una de las entrevistas más... Salió hace 2 días. Hace 2 días nos dieron la posibilidad de entrevistar a Timo Tolkki. Con Hernán dijimos, podemos, le damos, y estoy helado, o sea.
Igual, mientras menos planificado, mejor. Y ¿sabéis qué? Me encantó ver a Timo, se ve como súper, se ve íntegro, se ve bien, ¿cachai? Un personaje que nosotros obviamente queremos por todo
O sea,
lo que
todos sabemos
significa
que Timo
y que
pasó por unos
sabemos,
tiempos
claro, y
difíciles y
sabemos,
todo,
exacto, por eso.
y verlo
Es
entero, verlo
la
así,
raja.
en verdad, creo que quedé para adentro. Yo no sabía qué esperar. De hecho, lo soy sincero, desde los grandes jefes de Power Metal nos dijeron que si estábamos seguros de que la entrevista iba a ir, porque tenían miedo de que se cayera a última hora. Yo a las 8 de la mañana estaba weando para saber la entrevista iba, Hernán preparando la entrevista con lo que podía, mi perra ladrando como enferma, y debe ser una de las mejores entrevistas que hemos tenido en la historia. No sé si, por lo menos de que yo estoy parte de Power Metal, la mejor entrevista en la que he estado. Y creo que una de las
la
mejores
entrevista en vivo, seguro, sí. Muy abierto, muy honesto. Puta, hablamos de todo. Muy agradable. No, bacán. Yo comparto tus palabras, Karim. Creo que ha sido lejos lo mejor. El mejor entrevistado que hemos tenido. Así que, oye, bacán, pues, weón, te voy a tomar unas chelas con él, weón, puta.
Weón, sí. Y a todo esto, el domingo tenemos otra entrevista, pero esa va a ser, entiendo, con la gente de Delta, y ojo que la otra semana parece que tenemos entrevista con Sauron, para los fanáticos de Sauron, así que estamos moviendo las cosas. Por ahí tengo entendido que nos van a soltar a Alessandro Conti, también por este show, pero por el tema de que el cantante de Raps, o sea, estamos moviendo las cosas. Acuérdense que también
mientras más Patreon tengamos, más
Patreon, mientras más nos facilitan,
más
porque menos tenemos que trabajar en nuestras pegas normales. No, pero para hacer esto mejor. Eso. Bueno, Hernán, ¿algo más que decir?
No, nada. Gracias, Karim, por organizarlo y todo bien. Nos vemos el fin de semana.
Eso. Y gracias a todos los que estuvieron conectados, de repente 40, 30 personas. Muchas gracias, disfruten la entrevista y disfruten de PowerMetal.cl. Y ojo, 20 de octubre en Paz está la entrada, Timo Tolkki en Chile, con Visions tocando junto a Alessandro Conti, Jari Kainulainen, Mikko Harkinen y Alex Landemur. Una tremenda formación tocando canciones del Visions y algunos extras que no nos quiso decir. Yo voy a estar ahí, Timo Tolkki va a estar ahí, PowerMetal va a estar ahí. Eso, ha sido muchas gracias. Disfruten el día. Chao.